Welcome to the Movies Explained in English. Today I brought you a Tamil movie named Karnan, released on 9th April 2021, starring Dhanush. Without wasting time, let's hop into the main agenda of this video. Story starts with a girl lying down on a road while discharging white foam from her mouth. Though the road was busy, nobody showed interest in caring for the girl as all were concerned about their own destinations. The girl takes her last breath, suffering a lot. Then the story is taken to the present time where a man with a black covering on the head is shown being taken in a police van. The man, tied with handcuffs, is shown tortured and being taken to the court. The man is none other than the main character, Dhanush, called Karnan in this movie. Along with the story, the intro part of the movie also keeps running, where the group of people are writing the sketch of Karnan with burning woods. Alongside, police are beating Karnan as badly as they can and dragging him to the court. Then a flashback is shown, where Karnan has just woken up in the morning and her elder sister shouts at him for his laziness. As he puts on his shirt, he remembers that there is a ritual that day in the village. The ritual is held every year on the same day, in which a big fish is worshipped and turmeric paste is applied on it, before throwing it into a pond. While throwing the fish in the pond, it is to be cut into two halves in the air. Anybody being able to do so is respected and listened to as much as a leader. Karnan reaches the ritual site with his grandfather. His grandfather proposes that the fish will be cut by Karnan this time. Then a long sword is handed over to Karnan and is cheered by the villagers. Accepting the challenge, Karnan takes a long run and jumps while cutting the fish into exactly two halves. Villagers, being happy and excited, give Karnan an elephant ride while singing and dancing for him. A girl standing by the dancing crowd stares at Karnan. Her name is Draupadi and is attracted to Karnan. She is the sister of Vardamali, who orders her to go inside the home. In the same crowd, Draupadi's friend is also seen, who is planning to go to the city for her exams the next day. Unfortunately, there are no bus stops in the village. The vehicles run by the side of the village, but no vehicle ever stops for anyone there. The whole story of the movie revolves around this issue of how the villagers get justice in this case. For the justice, Karnan puts his life on stake. Well, Pujal, who is going for an exam in the city, walks with her father and sits in a waiting stop near the road, where some local goons from another village come and draw dirty pictures of the girl. Seeing that, Pujal's father tries to convince them not to draw such pictures near her daughter. The goons start beating the old man. After enough fight, a guy from another village comes and stops the fight while threatening Pujal's father to never come to the stop again, as the stop lies in their village, not in the Pujal's village. As soon as Karnan knows about the incident where his villagers were bullied and were not allowed to wait for the bus to the city, he sets a plan and blocks the road where the goons are stopped due to the herd of the kettles. As soon as they stop their bikes, Karnan attacks the goons and the revenge fight is carried out very nicely. Hence a panchayat, that is a village council, is called the next day for talking about the fight. Here, Karnan is regarded as guilty for beating up the villagers from another village, which will now disturb the relationship between two villages even more. All the villagers agree to the point that Karnan should be punished for what he did. But the Mukhya, main person of the village, tells that Karnan did not do that for no reason. Instead, it was revenge for the wrongdoing of the goons that day on the bus stop. Then Karnan is praised. Next day, Pujal does not go to school, and Karnan asks her on the way. She confesses that she does not want to make things go worse after what she went through the day before. Karnan's grandfather, Yaman, asks him to play cards for entertainment, but Karnan says he does not have any money and asks his grandfather to get some from his mother-in-law if possible. Yaman goes to his mother-in-law and tries to steal the money tied on her sari while talking with her. She notices but allows him to take that. After that, both of them win a lot of money with that in gambling. And then the next scene shows the next day where Karnan is appearing for CRPF test and is made to run a very long distance. Karnan passes the test. The villagers become too happy as Karnan is going to be the first person in the village to win a government job. On the way back to the village, Karnan takes the same bus in which Draupadi is already on the board. Draupadi and some villagers paid for the tickets to the other village as the bus never stops for their village. Karnan protests and asks the conductor to stop the bus as his village arrives, but the bus doesn't stop. Karnan jumps from the bus, which compels the bus to be stopped, and hence other villagers also get off the bus. The situation is controlled and the bus leaves, but Karnan's nerves are not cooled down. As he sits angry, throwing pebbles in a hill, Draupadi comes and kisses him as gratitude for stopping the bus just in time at their village. Otherwise, she should have walked many kilometers from another village to get home. The gratitude grows thoroughly to love. Then this scene shifts to a night where Yaman is approached by a small girl with a mark on her face and says that she has collected some money for the marriage of her elder sister. She also mentions that the money has been buried under the house. Yaman wakes up, letting us know that the girl is not in reality but came in the dream. Trusting the dream, the family starts digging just to find a small box with some money. Karnan's mom starts crying, mentioning that her daughter left the money before she died. Here, it is revealed that the girl who was shown dying at the start was no one but the younger sister of Karnan. The next day, with that money, Karnan and Yaman go to gambling. During the play, Vardamalai starts talking bad about Karnan's younger sister, due to which Karnan starts beating him, but he manages to escape. The next day, Karnan goes to meet Draupadi, but she refuses to talk to him as he beat her brother the day before. Karnan tries to convince accepting his guilt for beating her brother, but also mentions that her brother must not have talked bad about his sister too. Draupadi does not get convinced at all. Next, it is shown that someone has passed away in the village. The funeral ritual in this village was such that the dead person is given farewell with joy, singing and dancing. Hence, some dancers were hired for the ceremony. Draupadi is seen sad in the scene. In the next hand, Karnan is also too sad, but to forget the sadness, he buys and drinks alcohol from a nearby store and starts dancing like crazy with the dancers. Draupadi, with anger, pours water on the dancing Karnan. The next day, his elder sister scolds and beats him up for creating nonsense behavior the day before, drinking alcohol and hence humiliating Draupadi too. The sister leaves while blabbering that Karnan is a useless fellow and all the responsibilities of the house have been piled on her shoulder. Listening what his sister said, he feels so bad and says quietly. His grandfather Yaman comes to him and asks him to join in a kabaddi match with neighboring villagers for a big reward money. As he remembers what his sister said due to his uselessness, he decides to participate in kabaddi for the money. During the match, the referee, being bribed by rich people, keeps on giving fraudulent decisions. As Karnan protests, he gets kicked from the game. Alongside on a road, there is a small family waiting for a bus. The wife is pregnant and crying with pain. No buses stop for them. Soon a bus arrives but doesn't stop. So the elder son of the family throws a stone at the bus and crashes the window. Then the bus stops. Driver and conductor come out and start a fight with the family. Karnan was witnessing that all. He was angry with the villagers due to injustice in the game, and now also angry at the bus driver and conductors that did not stop, but now fighting with the family. Karnan starts picking up the fight by beating and damaging the bus with wood while beating up the driver and the conductor also. Villagers join the clash. The next day, police arrive at their village for the inquiry about the bus incident. The villagers try to hide about Karnan and others involved. Just in time, the conductor points out the child who threw a stone at their bus. Police capture that child, and not being able to see that, Karnan and those hiding on the top of the water tank comes down to face the police. Police then tries to arrest Karnan, but the villagers protest and warn them to be killed if they try to capture Karnan. The owner of the bus speaks up and convinces police that any mishaps must be avoided. So the owner accepts that the driver must have stopped the bus for the pregnant woman and also ensures that the mistake won't be repeated. He also promises that the bus will stop at their village at least once while traveling through there for the villagers. Although the fight had been addressed, the police were raised and had feelings of revenge on the villagers. So, some of the villagers were called off to the police station asking for some signatures. But when they arrived there, they were beaten badly. The next day, some women report to Karnan that their husbands have not yet returned from the police station. Karnan rushes to the station, and on seeing the condition of the villagers there, he fights back along with some other villagers and damages the police station while beating up the policemen. They return back to the village, but they already know that policemen will come back to take revenge on them. Hence, the Karnan with the villagers make a pre-plan to counterattack the possible revenge. All the men get armed with wooden sticks and sharp weapons. The women cook food for them. Children and elderly people are kept in a safe place. The next day, a government letter arrives at the village, which was in the name of Karnan. The letter was the confirmation of a government job that he applied for earlier. Yaman asks Karnan to leave for the job without worrying about the policeman's revenge. He adds that Karnan will be first person as government officials, and also he tries to convince Karnan that villagers can fight back if anyone comes to attack. Karnan refuses to leave, but all the villagers convince him to grab this opportunity as this might promote him to powerful authority someday so as to develop the village later. Villagers also insist on protecting the village on their own. Although Karnan did not want to leave, he was compelled to live under the pressure of the villagers. Yaman also hands over the ritual sword to him before he leaves. Soon, a police force arrives around the village. Then villagers send a message through children that what happened earlier was all due to the fault of the policemen and they don't want to fight with them, so it will be better if they leave. The authorities agrees to leave, but the angry policeman knowingly throws a stick towards the villagers just to initiate the fight, and villagers respond accordingly. Then, a great fight occurs between the two parties. Policemen enter the village and start abusing all the villagers brutally while damaging the entire village. Policemen did not spare children and women too. The earlier pregnant woman is shown about to give birth. Due to the uncontrolled situation there, Karnan's grandfather, Yaman, set himself on fire. A boy who used to have a hearse with him rushes on his horse to Karnan and tells how brutally the policemen abused the entire village and the villagers. The person who went to leave Karnan takes out the sword and hands it to Karnan, asking him to go and finish the intruders. Karnan returns to village on the hearse. Reaching the village, on seeing the burnt body of his grandfather and all the crying, helpless women and children, his anger crosses the limit, and then he starts abusing the policemen with his sword. At last, he grabs the inspector and warns all the policemen to move back while putting the sword on the neck of the policeman. Policemen don't listen to him, so Karnan takes the inspector to a room where a raging Karnan starts abusing the inspector brutally and finally kills him with the sword. Then the story sets back to the present time, where Karnan is being taken to the court and Karnan is sentenced to 10 years of jail. After 10 years, Karnan returns to his village and sees his village is now prosperous. Some days in the past, no bus stopped for the village, but now everyone is concerned about the village and for the village. Villagers cheer for Karnan on his return while singing and dancing. Seeing this, Karnan's eyes get wet with happiness and the movie ends here. Overall, I enjoyed the movie and recommend you to watch it. If you enjoyed this video, like and share it. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more videos. If you want me to explain any other specific movies, kindly leave your comments in the comment section below. Any feedback will be appreciated. Thanks for watching. See you next time.